Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, today we are going to discuss about one of the most important divisional chart in astrology. And yes, you can say that it is one of the most ignored divisional chart. Every divisional chart is very important. Whenever you're analyzing the horoscope of a person, it's very necessary that you go through all the divisional charts because each and every divisional chart holds a certain importance, right? So today we are going to analyze the Trishamsha divisional chart, also known as the D-30 divisional chart. Now, what do you mean by Trishamsha? Well, Trishamsha means 1 by 30th division of a sign, right? And before we go further and understand what is the true meaning of Trishamsha, what does the Trishamsha chart indicates? Well, Trishamsha represents the negative aspects of your life, your obstacles, your miseries, your troubles, and of course, each and every trouble, whether it's related to your health, marriage, relationship, profession, everything, with all kinds of trouble can be seen through the D-30. So let's begin and let's see how you can analyze your D-30 chart. So let's begin.
As I have already discussed that D-30 is a divisional chart which reveals our troubles, problems, miseries, misfortunes, and more than anything else, it is a divisional chart which reveals our weaknesses in the current life. Now, what is the need to explore one's weaknesses and miseries? Did you remember the story Alice in the Wonderland? Well, Alice went down that rabbit hole, and as the consequence of that fall, she discovered her true self. She didn't just discover the Wonderland, but she discovered the wonders she can achieve in her life. The only agenda to understand the weaknesses is that to make your weakness into your strength. You have to make your troubles, your weaknesses into your weapon. The first house of the D-30 chart represents the self-induced problems. You are responsible for your miseries, the problems which are created by yourself. The second house indicates the troubles related to your finance and family. The third house signifies the problems related to your co-bonds, your courage, your self-efforts. The fourth house represents the problems related to your character, your nature, your home, and your family. Fifth house is related to the children, the troubles related to childbirth, intelligence. The sixth house is again the house of enemy and disease. So the sixth house over here represents diseases, accidents. The seventh house represents the problems related to the outside world, marriage, public behavior, etc. In the eighth house, well, the eighth house is very important because eighth house indicates the mistakes and the miseries you're carrying from your past life. The ninth house represents the problems related to your teachers, to religion, spirituality. The 10th house indicates the problems due to your present life actions, your karmic actions of this life. Also, the problems related to your profession or career. The 11th house of Trishamsha represents the problems related to income, money, and the unfulfillment of your hopes, desires, and ambitions. And again, the 12th house is the house which indicates the problems related to hospitalizations, problems you may face while sleeping, or maybe the troubles you might face in a foreign country. Trishamsha means 1/30th division of a sign. So Prashara divided the sign into 5 unequal parts ruled by 5 planets. So over here you can see the division. For planets or lagna in the odd sign, the first 5 degrees is given to Mars, then the next 5 degrees is given to planet Saturn, 8 degrees is given to Jupiter, 7 degrees to Mercury, and 5 degrees to Venus. And you have to follow the same order in reverse for planets and lagna in the even sign. Sun and Moon don't have any lordship in D-30. No planet can be placed in the sign of Leo and Cancer. Why? Well, Sun represents father and Moon represents mother. So these two planets cannot harm any individual. So Prashari Trishamsha focuses on 5 elements: air, fire, water, earth and ether. And so is our human body. It is also made up of these 5 elements. So the Mars represents fire, Saturn represents air, Jupiter represents the ether, Mercury represents the earth, and lastly Venus represents the water element. And it's a tattva based divisional chart. So these elements can really help you to analyze whether a planet is going to work in a good manner or a bad manner. This can be very helpful in making predictions. The very first thing you need to analyze is the condition of the first house of D-30. A strong first house means less number of troubles in life. The planet in the first house as well as the ruler of the first house of D-30 determines the strength of this chart. If the first house is associated with planets like Jupiter, Sun, Moon and even Mercury, then it indicates less number of miseries in life. Benefics in first house of D-30 means that native will be a very strong person. He will be having a very strong willpower and he will be smart enough to deal with the problems in current life. If the first house is ruled by malefics like Mars, Saturn or any kind of association with Rahu and Ketu, well, this indicates that there will be a lot of miseries in this current life, and also that whatever problems this native might be going through, well, he will be responsible for all kinds of troubles. So if the first house is malefic, if the ruler of the first house is associated with malefic planets, then the dasha of this particular planet will be very troublesome for the native. Now we have to link the D1 and the D30 chart. Okay, so firstly you have to see the placement of the ruler of the first house of D1 in D30. A well placed first house lord of D1 in D30 indicates that you are blessed with a lot of strength to deal with your troubles. And if it is placed in malefic houses like 6, 8, 12, it indicates a lot of troubles in life. There will be a lot of obstacles and struggles you have to deal with in this life. Then you have to see the placement of the 6th and the 8th lord of D1 in D30. Again, if the 6th and the 8th lord of D1 has some kind of association with the 6th, 8th and 12th house of D30, well, it can really indicate that you might undergo a lot of troubles in life. Especially the 8th house. If there is any kind of connection of the first house ruler of D1 with the 8th house of D30, then it indicates your past life karma. Whatever you are going through in this life is due to the mistakes, your actions done in the past life. In the same way, check the placement of the first house lord of D30 in D1 and also check the placement of the 6th and the 8th house lord of D30 in D1. If the 6th and the 8th house lord of D-30 is placed in the 7th house of D-1, it indicates problems related to marriage. If the 6th or the 8th house lord of D-30 is placed in the 10th house of the D-1, it indicates troubles related to profession. So this is how you are going to link the D-1 and the D-30 chart. And in the same way, you can link the other divisional charts with D-30. If you want to understand the troubles related to your marriage, you have to link the D9 to D-30. If you want to understand the troubles of your profession, you have to link D10 with D30, right? So in same way, you can link the other divisional charts with D30 to understand your true weaknesses, your obstacles and troubles. Now next, you have to see the placement of Sun and Moon in D30, because Sun is our soul. It represents our confidence, vitality. Moon represents emotions, mind, subconsciousness. So the Trishamsha of Sun and Moon defines our nature, right? Suppose Moon is in Trishamsha of Mars. So if your Moon is in Aries or Scorpio in D30, it signifies that you are a very impulsive and aggressive person. If Sun goes into the Trishamsha of Mars, this represents that the individual is very confident and competitive. If Moon is placed in the Trishamsha of Jupiter, well, this indicates that this native is very peaceful and intelligent. And lastly, we have to see which planet is associated to a particular element. As I said, that it is a Tattva based, element based divisional chart. So the element decides the nature of the planet, how it's going to work. Well, any planet placed in the Trishamsha of planet Mars and Saturn is not suitable. Well, planet Mars is associated with the fire element, and what does the fire do? It just burns out everything. So any planet which goes in the Trishamsha of Mars will become a very active planet, very aggressive planet, and it may give bad results during its dasha. Same for planet Saturn. Saturn represents the air element. What is air? Air is known for its instability. It is something which is so unstable. So planet which gets into the Trishamsha of Saturn, well, this planet too will give malefic results in its dasha. So overall, the Trishamsha of Mars and Saturn are not suitable for the placement of any planet. If a planet is placed in the Trishamsha of Jupiter, well, it is associated with the ether element, and this can be a very good thing for planet. It is a good placement for any planet over there. But again, the deity of this Trishamsha is the Indra Dev, and this can be a little trouble for the native, not for the native, for the people around the native, because this kind of placement can make a person egocentric, self-centered. And then if a planet is placed in the Trishamsha of Venus, Venus is associated with water element. Well, it's a good placement for any planet because the water sign is associated with the nurturing and nourishing capabilities. It's a good element for growth and development. And lastly, the Trishamsha of planet Mercury. If any planet is placed in the Trishamsha of Mercury, again it's a good placement. It is associated with the earth element. Earth means growth, resources, materialism. So of course this person will be quite materialistic. The deity of this element is Kuber. So it indicates a lot of materialistic gains and happiness. So we have discussed enough of troubles and problems. So what are the remedies? What we can do to reduce the malefic effects of a certain planet? Well, the 6th lord and the 8th lord of the D-30 chart, the deities associated with these two lords, these two planets, are the remedies. You have to pray to them, you have to seek their blessings. If your 6th or 8th lord of D-30 is planet Mars, you have to seek the blessings of Surya Dev. For Saturn, you have to pray to Lord Shiva. For Jupiter, it's Lord Vishnu. For Mercury, it's Lord Ganesha. And for Venus, it's the goddess Lakshmi. So guys, this is how you can analyze the D-30 divisional chart. And if you're new over here, do subscribe to my channel. Till then, goodbye.